Hi, everyone. It's nice to see you from up here. It was my junior year of college, and I studied abroad in Italy, Orvieto, Italy, to be exact. So it was my first night in my apartment, and I just met all of my roommates, and they were all like, "Honey, we're gonna go out. We're gonna go out, check out all the bars, figure out where we're gonna go for the rest of this trip, and it's gonna be great." So I'm a real stickler for rules, and when I was 20 years old, I rarely ever drank alcohol before I turned 21. So at this point in Italy, I was like a bird let out of its cage. I was like, yes, we're gonna go out, I'm gonna have so much fun. So we get dolled up, put on our heels and our dresses, and we go out to our first bar. We wobble into our first bar. So there were two things we learned early on. First thing, don't ever wear heels or wedges in Italy because the ground's hundreds of years old and you'll break ankles. And second of all, there is nothing that a young Italian man loves more than a young American woman studying abroad in Italy. So we go into this first bar and we are just instantly treated like princesses. Everywhere we go, it's like, "Oh, you're so cute, you're American and you have a cute accent and let me buy you a drink." And it was great. We were like, "Oh, we can totally get used to this." But the night goes on and we start realizing we're in a small town in Italy. Language barrier is a real problem. And so I met this one guy, his name was Luca, because of course, a lot of them are named Luca. And he only spoke to me in song lyrics. I kid you not. He'd be like, "Oh, honey, you're so beautiful, que bella, hit me baby one more time." And at first I was like, "Oh, he's really cute. I'll just let it slide. He's buying me wine, whatever." And then it just kept going on and it was just "This is why I'm hot." And I was like, no more. So we still have fun, drink way too much and set the bar very high for the amount of fun that we were gonna have for the rest of this trip. So it's our first day of class. We're still a little bit hungover from 2 nights before. And we're just "Oh gosh, where's our teacher?" And so we hear footsteps finally from outside the classroom. And the door opens, and in walked the most beautiful man I had ever seen in my entire life. And all the heads in the room went from the door to the middle of the classroom. We're all silent. Energy went from being super hungover to wide awake. And this beautiful man opens his mouth and he says, "Buongiorno, classe. My name is Alessandro and I'm your professor this semester." And in that very moment, I knew he was my Italian love. He was 6 feet tall, tan skin, hazel eyes, wavy brown hair. And ladies and gentlemen, he spoke English. No more song lyric conversations for Haani. And so he was just in my mind, this perfect man. His late 20s. He was also an archaeologist, so he kind of looked a little bit like Indiana Jones all the time. But a cute, Italian Prada, Dolce & Gabbana Indiana Jones. So I find out, obviously we go home from school, and of course, everyone in my program is in love with Alessandro. And so we kind of make it this mission to see how we can get to know him and who he will like. And so we would study as much as we can and for his class and make sure we knew everything that he was gonna ask the next day in class. We went to the Vatican, and he would be like, "Who can tell me the name of the private chapel?" "Sistine Chapel." "Oh, wow, Haani, very good, such a good job." And then he'd be like, "Who can tell me the name of the sculpture that Michelangelo, the Pietà?" And he'd be like, "Wow, Haani, so good." And I'm like, "I know." Thank you so much. I studied really hard for this. And we got really awkward about it, kind of creepy from his end. We would try to take pictures of each other, but make it look like it was just us and Alessandro. But behind the camera, it would literally be 30 classmates, behind the camera. And this was before smartphones, so no easy way to be discreet about trying to get a photo of your friend with Alessandro. So, we got really creepy, but whatever. And so we kind of wait till the end of the semester to start asking some really serious questions to Alessandro. And we're like, oh, well, first of all, do you have a girlfriend? And he's like, yeah, I actually have a life partner. So we're like, no girlfriend, no fiance, no wife, just a life partner. And then we find out he has a kid. So being 20 years old, having a crush on this dude, and you find out he's a dad, you're like, oh, no. Sad. And then the final question, we're like, oh, well, just want to know, Alessandro, what's your last name? And he goes, oh, well, my name is Celani. And in that very moment, I knew that he was not my Italian love. Because, when I have a crush on a guy, I kind of try to see what my name would sound like if I was to marry him and take his last name. And so if I was to marry Alessandro, my name would have been Haani Celani. It was not my Italian love. Thank you.